How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery, welcome back to my channel. What I do here is I break down the occult sciences and I break them down to a very practical level so that you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life simply by using your observation in connection to the things that I'm teaching on my channel. You will see changes, trust me. So my name is Jermain Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in the entire Kabbalistic tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 archetypal pathways that are associated with that tree and the major arcana of the tarot deck. And I'm also studied when it comes to planetary energies in connection with astrology. Okay? That was just to give you some awareness of who you're getting this information from, because that is definitely important to understand, especially when we're in the field of the occult sciences. I am a professional occult practitioner, okay? So without further ado, what is the topic of today's video? So today's video is going to be about death, and it's going to be in regards to why is death so important in the occult field, okay? What is the importance of death? Why are there so many death gods? When you go to any traditions, any mythologies, any culture, there are always entities. There is always going to be symbolism and major significance placed into death, okay? So what I'm going to be making very clear in this video is why is that? Why is death so important? And giving you a practical understanding that you can take from this video and apply into your being and into your awareness so that you always know the secrets of death, okay? So without further ado, if you want to know what death is really about, then stay tuned. Okay, so let's literally jump right into it. So, why is death so important? Okay? I mean, let's talk about death for a second. I mean, it ranges all the way from sacrifice, real life sacrifice, whether it's of animals or human. Okay? If you date back far enough, it was well known that human sacrifice was being done, and it was actually revered within certain cultures. Animal sacrifice was very popular, even mentioned in the Bible. That's one place that you can find it. You study all other types of cultures, they also were using animal sacrifice. Once again, you hear about all these different mythologies, and there are entities, there are gods that are sacred and revered, and they are death gods. Okay, you hear about ego death. Okay, so there is this importance behind death and what death represents, especially within the occult field. And there is a very good physics and scientific reason behind death as well. So death isn't just a thing that is being done because it doesn't have any energetic properties to it. Okay, death is used because it creates a certain type of energy that will manifest 100% change in energy or 100% manifestation of an intention. That's what death is used for. So if you look at it from a physics perspective, you have a +1 and you have a -1. If you add the +1 plus the -1, you get a 0, and that 0 point is what creates the power, and that 0 point is associated with death energy. Okay, that's 0. Okay, which is pretty much the non-being that creates the being. So from physics, that's why death is so important, and that's what death is. Now, when you're looking at it from an occult standpoint, death is always going to represent a transition of energy. So whenever you see death symbolism, whether it manifests in a skull, whether it manifests in a skeleton, whether it manifests in something dead on the street, something dead, somebody dying, death itself. A coffin. Whenever you see death symbolism, there is deep meaning to that. And what it means is there is a transformation of energy. There is a movement, a shift, a change in energy that is taking place no matter how that death energy manifests itself. So that change in energy could be for your benefit, or it could be towards your detriment. It just means a change in energy. Now, as an occultist, somebody who embraces the occult field, we use death all the time. Okay, and what do I mean by that? We embrace death for what it is, which means we recognize death is necessary to cause change. So whether we are allowing ourselves psychologically, emotionally, even physically sometimes to certain degrees, and spiritually, we are allowing ourselves to die to things that don't serve us. And that is a form of letting go and getting more in touch with the non-being, which is actually closer to the soul's purpose. Because the more you get to the non-being, the less your ego can influence you. And the more you can listen to your intuition, which is embedded in you, in your genetic code. Okay? So, we embrace death, and as we embrace death, that causes further evolution for us. Because whenever we see death symbolism, there's never a time where it's just, oh, it's just death. Oh, there's just a skeleton right there. Or there's somebody's wearing a shirt with a skull on it. It's never that. And it's never a bad thing. It's never, oh, that's bad. Or that's wrong. Or that's evil. For us as true professional occultists, we embrace death to aid in our evolutionary journey to cause that type of shift, no matter how the death manifests. I'm telling you from a real occultist perspective. Not all occultists are like that, but from somebody like me, who is a professional occultist, who gets real results with my magic, with my life, with manifesting what I'm intending, and can affect the world around me to a major degree, I'm letting you know that people that can do what I'm doing, we embrace death to that degree, where death, when death manifests, we embrace it, no matter how it manifests. Okay, and it always pushes us into more power, okay, because we're intending that. Now, once again, death energy represents specifically two things: 100% manifestation or 100% change of energy. So death can be used towards someone's decline. There can be death energy that moves them in a place that is hell-like, or a place of torment or torture or some form of suffering or some reality that they don't want to experience. Or death can be used to push someone into further stages of evolution towards more power. It can be used either way. And the people that are taking advantage of death energy are embracing it as an evolutionary energy, an evolutionary process, which it should be. Just like when you have ego death, you always know when you go through an ego death, you're burning away blockages, you're dissoluting the sense of self so that you can get further in touch with your potential, your highest potential. Okay? So let me show you in regards to Kabbalah what death is symbolized by. So death on this Kabbalistic tree is going to be associated with this sphere right here that is ruled by Uranus, and it resides in the abyss. Okay? It resides in that state of the non-being, which is where all potential is, because in the abyss, it's all chaos. There's no order in the abyss. It's just all raw potential, and it's non-being. There's so much chaos, it's just non-being. So this sphere called Dath resides within the abyss and is associated with the number 11 because it is the 11th sphere. So if you count up from this tree from Malkuth to Kether, you'll get 10, and then this becomes the hidden 11th sphere. So as an occultist, this sphere, Dath, which can also represent death, is associated with knowledge, and once again resides within the abyss, which is that 0 point that I was talking about in regards to physics. You have +1, the masculine pillar, and you have -1, the feminine pillar, and then you have the middle, which is the 0 point, Dath, which in the occult field is also a gateway to get to other locations on this Kabbalistic structured tree. But I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but death is associated to this sphere, and as an occultist, we use death energy, whether it's on ourselves or whether it manifests in the world around us, or both, to always aid in our evolution to gain more knowledge, which can easily equate to power if you're moving in the direction of evolution, and always represents 100% manifestation because this exists within the realm of all potential, aka the abyss. So whenever we're bringing death energy, or we have death energy, for example, you see my ring right there, let's zoom in, we are always creating 100% manifestation, or accessing all of that potential to go into our intent. Okay, and that's what death represents on this Kabbalistic structure. Okay, so whenever you are hearing about death gods, whenever you're hearing about ego death, whenever you're hearing about death in general, death itself, that energy is very powerful, and it will always represent a change in energy. Whether that change is taking you further to your evolution, or whether you're blocking yourself and having that change through ignorance take you into degradation. It's up to you. And if you embrace death as an evolutionary part of our planet, which it is, then you will gain the benefits of death. If you don't embrace it, then death will be used on you. That's just how it works. So that's what I'm going to say about this video. I definitely feel like some people got value from that. And let me say this. If you are working with energies that are death-like in nature, the whole purpose of these energies are to attune you to death. So when you hear people talk about the current of death, all that means is that it's tuning your awareness in your energy field to embrace death energy so that you can intend your evolution with that death energy to have it push you into more evolution, rather than your pre-programmed, indoctrinated perspective or mindset which tells you to be afraid of death and to think death is evil and to think that death is wrong and it's always bad. You can do that if you want, and you may not like death, but you're going to have to do some work on your sense of self, and you're going to have to do some work on your perspective, because you can hate death all you want, and you're going to be afflicted by it, okay? But you can embrace death and love the idea of the energetic physics that are behind death, and embrace it as many other ancient cultures have embraced it before, and allow it to aid and fuel your evolutionary journey. But once again, you're going to make the choice you're going to make. So that's what I'm going to say to that. That's where I'm going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. Okay, definitely make sure you hit the thumbs up if you feel like this video is offering you value. And definitely hit the notification bell, because I post videos as often as I can, and you definitely do not want to miss out. Definitely go ahead and hit the subscribe button right next to it. I love to see my subscribers shoot through the roof, so make sure if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe right now, okay? Also, please feel very free to share this video or share this information, copy the link, send it to family, friends, or your social medias, that may be interested in this type of information. If you know anybody that's interested in this and feel like they could gain value from it, please, and with any of my videos, feel free to share it. I want to spread this information like a wildfire, okay? So with that, I'm going to leave that there. If you would like to gain access to an exclusive vault of content that is not publicly uploaded to my YouTube channel, then what you can do is you can go to the YouTube description and look at that very first link that I have in my YouTube description. That's where you'll find my Patreon, and literally right next to the link it will say Patreon. You can't miss it. On my Patreon, I have 4 tiers. The first tier is literally just support. The second tier gives you the entrance point to a huge vault of exclusive content that ranges from occult practices that are fundamental to perform if you're wanting to get into this field. Also gives you access to live streams that I do on YouTube and then afterwards upload only to my Patreon. Also gives you access to high-level information on the Kabbalistic structure of the entire initiatory process. Very valuable information and other stuff as well. So if you want to gain access to that exclusive vault of content, definitely check out Tier 2. If you want to gain access to a step-by-step magic training course where I'm teaching you exactly what tools you need, how to energetically link yourself to those tools so that they actually do something for you, which is necessary, and then how to go through specifically necromancy, angel magic, and demon magic, and then how to cast a low magic spell to control your immediate reality, then what you can do is you can join as Tier 3 because Tier 3 gives you access to the entire magic training course that I have on my YouTube channel, or excuse me, on my Patreon. And that is very valuable if you're actually wanting to start becoming a magician yourself. You need to go through the magic training course, okay? So Tier 3 will give you access to that or up. The next tier that I have is Tier 4, where it's an actual service that I perform for you on the 29th of every month that has a 29th. There's only one that doesn't. 29th because 2 plus 9 equals 11, which is associated to Dath, which creates 100% manifestation. So there you go for that. But what I do in that service is I completely change your energetic structure permanently. It's a one-time service. And what it does is it makes you more attuned to Universe B, which means you are able to process and suck in energy from chaos around you within your environment or within people around you as well. And as you are sucking in that energy by being receptive, you are increasing power within yourself. You're increasing sexual energy and you're increasing your potential to be able to manifest what you're wanting through your intention. Okay? That's everything that top tier has to offer. And I offer that service for an extremely low price, okay? Probably the lowest price that you're going to find on the entire internet, and it is literally one of the highest level services that is available on the internet, and I will say that and I'll stand on that, okay? So that is actually one of the top tiers of my Patreon itself, and what I mean by that is that's one of the most popular tiers that's a part of my Patreon, rightly so. And as you maintain top tier, your name is on my sigil, so you're constantly getting a link of power as I'm developing myself as well, okay? If you want to know a little bit more about that top tier service, at the end of this video, I'm going to have another video pop up in the top corner, and you can click that and it will literally give you more information on that vampire service that I perform every month on the 29th, okay? With that being said, I would love to give a special shout out to all the top tier members of the Patreon. I highly appreciate all of you for specifically taking your practices to that next level. So huge shout out to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, okay? The next shout out I would like to give is to all of my Patreon members in general. I highly appreciate all of you for taking your knowledge, studies, and your practices to that next level as well. Huge shout out to all of you. Not everyone is doing that. You know, for everyone that's getting involved in the occult sciences, especially to the degree that I'm teaching, that's a huge step ahead, okay? So you are going to be 10 steps ahead of the mass collective, probably way more than 10 steps ahead, if you're getting into this information now and then beginning to practice it. Okay, so huge shout out to everyone a part of my Patreon. I appreciate all of you for taking advantage of that. Okay, the next shout out I would like to give is to all my YouTube subscribers. I appreciate you subscribing, and also I appreciate the fact that you are really listening in and absorbing this information. That's always going to be a great thing. Okay, now the second thing that I would like to take your awareness to will be the second link that is in my YouTube description. There it's going to say square up appointments, and parentheses will say book now. What you can do there is you can literally book your own tarot card reading with me, where I can literally pinpoint exactly where you are on this Kabbalistic tree. As you can see, the tree is in the form of the DNA strand, which means it literally runs through your veins. So that means you can be traveling through this tree without actually knowing about the tree. So when you get a reading from somebody like me who's very studied on this tree, I can literally show you where you are on your evolutionary, spiritual, initiatory journey. And I've done over 100 readings so far, and I've been able to pinpoint where everybody's located and then tell them where they're headed in their near and long-term future. And the best part is, the reading is not a live reading. I do the reading on my own time. That's the best way for me to do it anyways. And I send it to you through WhatsApp so that once it's sent to you, you will have it forever. So you can literally study it as many times as you need to get the value from it and literally see how the things I'm talking about in your near and long-term future will actually manifest as you step into those timelines, okay? And then at the end of the reading, I also give you extra homework to study as well, which is obviously very valuable, okay? So definitely, if you want to figure out where you are in this tree, book a tarot card reading with me in the second link below, okay? Now, the third thing that I would like to take your awareness to is the third link within my YouTube description. What you can do there is become a YouTube member. Okay, so YouTube members get access to a exclusive emoji system that is literally designed by me to be used in a psychic warfare manner, which means you can use these simple emojis in a certain configuration to literally cause psychic damage to your target. Okay, and I literally, as you become the member, I have a community post that explains on how to use this emoji system, literally the most simple form of psychic warfare. And I'm the only person on YouTube that is using it on YouTube. As I said, I created these emojis myself in a very strategic way, and this is the future of the occult sciences anyways. So it's very powerful, very profound. And I even have a YouTube video that explains in more depth of how to use it. And the YouTube video is going to be titled, parentheses, YouTube members, followed by Psychic Warfare Program. So if you want to watch that YouTube video to learn a little bit more about how it functions, go ahead, okay? But that is what you will gain access to as you become a YouTube member, and as well as your name will appear in green as I do my live streams, and I will be giving you special shout outs in my live streams, okay? So other than that, I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate all of you who are here, and I hope you all, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.